inspiration behind the name Fireside?
You know, that was pretty simple. We were sitting in the park, remember?
I do remember.
Contemplating whether we were going to pastor this church. And you said,
I did.
if we're going to pastor that church, we're going to have to name it something different. What would we call it?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never thought this before in my life, but it just came to me. Fireside Church. So I felt like that was...
and I said, why does it have to have fire in it?
It's just who we are, babe.
I guess so. Oh my. How clean is your house during quarantine?
Can I answer that one?
I'm not sure.
It's immaculate.
Oh, good answer. Good answer. I love that. Yes, we'll just move right along. When did you first feel called to be in ministry?
Do you remember when we was married probably a couple of years, and we were, there was a class came up at church, the leadership class,
Yes.
and I thought you wanted to go.
Right.
You thought I wanted to go.
I thought you wanted to go.
So I went for you, and you went for me, and when we got done, we started teaching children's church.
Yep, we did.
And then
Beggs Assembly of God Church.
Then it got a little bit more serious when we were called to be youth pastors, and
A long time ago.
then it was like my conversations with God began to be Him talking instead of just me talking.
Right.
And I can remember that. I could share a lot, but we don't have that long. But
No.
He called us.
So he called you, and we were married, so we were called into the ministry
That's right.
a long time ago.
That's right.
Okay. Ooh.
I think I heard Him say, it wouldn't be good for Him to do this alone. I better call both of them.
Yes. I felt called a long time ago when I was like a little girl in Beggs Assembly of God. We had a missionary come one time, and I remember thinking, wow, I really want to be a missionary. I think I really want to do that. And then after we had gotten married and all the things that you said happened, I remember at the back of the church one time, and I was talking with Sister Story, and she told me, Sherry, Tulsa is a mission field. That's when they had kind of talked to us about being youth pastors for them a long time ago, and it's like, yeah, Tulsa is a mission field. So we went, and it's been a journey and adventure ever since, on the mission field. Okay. Wait, I think I missed that one. What does your favorite date night look like?
You were there.
What's your answer? I know what mine is. I would like to know this answer from your point of view, your perspective.
Anywhere with you.
Oh, so sweet. Mm-hmm.
That's 2 for me, right?
Yeah, I think so. What does my favorite date night look like? Let's see. There are several, but I think it's just being with you, nobody else around, having a movie night, or what we used to do is go walking a lot. We don't do that very much now, but having a movie night. And I used to have this thing, I can't have chai anymore right now, but I love chai, and I used to say a movie and a date night chai with my guy. Those were my favorite date nights. Ooh. Oh no. Describe your spouse in one word. Describe your spouse in one word.
Gorgeous.
3 for you. My word for you would be, I have more than one, but I think the first one would be loving. You're very loving person, not only to me, but to everybody. Compassionate, kind, caring, And I know you can't say those things about me, but I can say those things about you. Who's your favorite? This has to be from one of our children, and I can probably guess who that would be. Who is your favorite child? Really?
Well, if someone could tell me who God's favorite child is, then I could probably tell you who my favorite child is. But I have 4 of the most amazing kids.
Well, I do too. Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I do too. I've got some amazing kids.
Our kids are such amazing kids.
And they married amazing spouses. And we have amazing grandchildren, right?
Yeah. So you can't value one above the other.
No.
You just can't do it.
No.
God doesn't value any of us above Him.
No, He doesn't.
He paid the same price for all of us.
That's right, He did. So you know what? I just want to tell all my children that they're my favorites. Because it's true. Shall we move on? Okay, what is one of the most challenging things about being a pastor?
It's really an easy one for me.
And if you don't say what I think you're going to say, I'm going to say it for you. What is it? What is it?
I'll just have to say it like this. Struggling with administration.
That's what I was going to say. Absolutely.
And you have been such a help to that. That's why God put us together. But even now, I see our kids coming up and being so much help in that.
Me too.
God knew what He was doing.
That's right.
But that's been my challenge.
One of my most challenging things about being a pastor with you is letting go of things and letting other people take over and do things. And that's part of administrating also. Because it's like we've been doing it for so long that...
I can tell you what she's really trying to say.
What?
They don't do it just as perfect as she.
I'm getting better. Ask our amazing kids, right? I am getting better. But that's one of the most challenging things, I think, for me in the ministry is letting other people. And I know that's what I have to do and what needs to be done in order for this church to grow. So, we're learning, right? So, you are known for your coffee making. That would not be my question, that is it. What's the secret to the perfect cup of coffee?
The perfect cup of coffee has to be fresh. That means not just made. It needs to be freshly roasted, freshly ground, and brewed, and then it has to be the right temperature. My grandpa used to always send his coffee back when we'd go to a restaurant. He'd send it back because it wasn't hot enough. And sometimes I can just be drinking coffee, and when it gets to that perfect, it starts out too hot, but boy, when it gets to that perfect temperature, and I've gotten to where I can guess the temperature of my coffee.
I've heard you.
And like 138 to 40 is perfect.
He does make perfect coffee. It's pretty good coffee, right? Grandkids like it too, even the little ones. All right, let's move right on, okay? If you could go back in time, what piece of advice would you give your 18, long time ago, year-old self?
Here's what I would say. Don't try to be what you think others want you to be. There's nothing to prove to anyone. So just be yourself. Because I used to get in a lot of trouble trying to prove other things. Prove I had something.
The piece of advice I would give is to save your money. Don't spend everything. Budget. I wish somebody would have taught me back on my 18, us, because we were married at that time, how to really do finances well. And so that would be my advice to my 18-year-old self and to any other 18-year-old or younger or even older person out there, to save, spend wisely, tithe, right? Take responsibility.
Be good stewards.
Be good
of what
stewards.
you've
That's
got.
what I was trying to say. Be good stewards of things that you have, not just your money, but your possessions and everything. Okay, what is your favorite scripture? Or what verse have you leaned on the most? What verse have you leaned on the most?
You know, there's a scripture in Isaiah, and I believe it's 23, but he'll give you, you know, the Bible it's so good. You can see, you know, different scriptures at different times in your life that just jump out and just, you know, are just really good. But in Isaiah it says he'll keep you in perfect peace if your mind is stayed on him.
Isaiah 26:3.
26:3. But in today, what we're going through in this world and in our nation,
That's right.
boy, your mind can go places. And so I just want to say that's one to stand on today.
That's right. Mine would be 2 Timothy 1:12, and it says, "For I know whom I have believed in, and I am persuaded that he is able to keep what I have committed to him against that day." And that scripture goes way back to when we were not just newly married, but in our marriage, when we would face certain circumstances and things that would come up. I know whom I have believed in, and I know that he is able to keep what I've committed to him. And my mind would go back and I was like, okay, what have I committed to him? I've committed my life to him. I've committed my family to him. I've committed my finances to him if we were going through a financial struggle. And I would stand on that verse and constantly still do. That's one of my go-to verses that I do lean on. It's 2 Timothy 1:12. I know whom I have believed in, and he's going to keep what I've committed to him. That's a promise. We can depend on him, and we can firmly stand on the scriptures. When we believe them in our heart, we can stand on those scriptures, and he does come through every single time. And he has, and he's never failed us, and he's never going to fail us ever, ever, ever.
That's why they call him the Prince of Peace.
He is Prince of Peace. Yep.
We want to thank you all for having coffee with us tonight. And thank you for the questions that you sent in. And hey, maybe we'll do this again sometime. Maybe you would like to have coffee with Joe and Jennifer, our youth pastors.
Or Thomas and Miranda, our children's pastors. Or maybe the deacons.
If you have questions or comments, just click below. Send your comments. It's been a good time having coffee with you.